This can be done by having a weekly review. Number 9, automate and outsource. Number 10, experiment. Advantages of personal organization. Relationships, increase creativity. Then we go to the disadvantages of not being organized. Loss of speed and efficiency, affects the mental health, feeling overwhelmed, becomes anxious and stressed. And in conclusion, I would be ending by a quote by Anatole France. To accomplish great things, we must not only act, but also dream, not only plan, but also believe. Thank you and God bless.
A round of applause for him, everyone. I believe it was a short and direct message to all of us. All right, now let's have a discussion now. We've heard his presentation. And by the way, that was a good one from the ushering department. Organization. How many of us have heard the term organize before? I think there's a song. Yeah, don't worry, I listen to music too. There's a song, Organize. How many of us know the song? Don't worry, stop acting too holy in God's house now, as if you don't know the song. You know the song, Organize. You don't know the song? Oh, you mean Pastor James is now the sinful person here? God will forgive all of you. Turn to your neighbor and say, neighbor, my God will forgive you. Turn to the other person and say, neighbor, my God will forgive you. All right, quick one. Please, those who are sitting at the back, if you know you don't belong to the media department and you're not an usher on duty, please humbly move to the front. Let's enjoy the presence of God together. And by the way, where is everybody? Is there any secret rapture that happened and took some people away? All right, we thank God. All right, so organization. I think it was on Thursday. Yes, on Thursday, I had about 4 meetings to do in one day. And do you know the funnest parts? I had about 2 meetings in Abuja. I had one in Lagos, and I had one at Babcock. The same day. So I woke up in Abuja, and I already planned out everything. And I was supposed to do all the same meeting on the same day, in the space of one day. And I had the first meeting at the Ministry of Health. The other one, I was with the president of the Nigerian Optometric Association. And I was supposed to fly back to Lagos. I think my flight was for 4:30 or thereabout. So I got to the airport, and you know this airpiece nonsense. So all of us were there, hoping we were going to fly at the exact time. And that's how they came with their nonsense announcement. Sorry, because of something we don't understand, they will delay our flight till 6 p.m. So already I was calculating my head. I was supposed to come and have my meeting by 7 here at Babcock, or by 8 p.m. How was I going to get here at that time? So somehow, I managed to get to BGH at around 8:30 p.m. The meeting could not hold till the next day. Organization. Now the question is, do you even have plans for yourself? Turn to your neighbor and say, do you have plans for yourself? You know, when I tell people that the time in your life when you have the most time for yourself is when you're still in school, people think I'm joking. Talk to people who are in the labor market. I always long for the Sabbath. I always look forward to it because it's a time to enjoy and sleep. You know, one time they asked Tony Elumelu and asked him, what is the most precious thing that you value the most? And guess what his answer was? He said, sleep. When I had the interview, I was wondering, this man has money, flies on private jet to everywhere he wants to go to. He can afford to even buy Babcock and nothing will happen to him. You know, that's the amount of money this guy has. Is he... he owns maybe the largest shareholder in UBA. What do you call it? A lot of other conglomerates like that. And this guy said the most valuable thing to him now is sleep. I mean, it may not sound reasonable, but sometimes when life eats you, you know, how many of us pray to be successful in life? You want to be successful. Believe me, when you see success, I mean, our idea of success sometimes is that success comes easy. You begin to enjoy everything. It begins to work out for you. Truly, it will work out for you. But God is going to make it such that He's not going to attach work to your success. So you want to be successful in life, now your work doubles. And you think that the same way you were working before God bless you is the same way you're also going to keep working when you are successful and you want to maintain it. Hi. I mean, I wish that before I grew up to this stage or before I moved up to this ladder in life, somebody taught me all of these things. But I'm grateful I'm able to share with you from experience that success is not easy. Honestly. That's why sometimes you see people, let me not say people who crave for success so much, when they get it, they easily lose it. Because they don't have the understanding that when God elevates you in life, your responsibility doubles. Now, you now begin to have plans for yourself. Some of us, we just wake up in the morning and you just go to class and come back. You don't have any plan for your day. You know, it's actually very dangerous. It's better you plan it and it doesn't work out than for you not to have any plan again. When I was on campus, a funny story now. I had a girlfriend then. And she would call me in the morning and say, "What's your plan?" I hated that question so much that sometimes I wonder and I told her, "Please don't ask me that question again. How you just wake up in the morning and be asking me, what's your plan for the day? What's your business with my life? Let me go and do my day. Whatever happens, happens." I mean, don't be like me. I mean, that was me of old then. There's nothing wrong in having plans for your day. You wake up in the morning, tell yourself, check your class timetable. This is how I want my day to go. I have a class from 7 to 9. I want to do this. When it's break time, I want to visit cafeteria. I want to do this. Now, in the midst of all that, now create a section for yourself and call it unbudgeted plans. Do you know why? Because there's always something that will encroach on your plan every day. Something you never planned for. So it's always best to give room for yourself to know that even if I don't plan for it, this can surely happen. And if it happens, how are you going to deal with it? Look, for example, I shared with you now. I already planned everything, thinking I was going to get here, have my meeting, and sleep off. The next morning, which was yesterday, I was supposed to leave here, go back to Lagos. I had a series of other meetings. I already planned this out. I was going to leave here in the morning. By 10 a.m., I'll be in my meeting in Lagos, clear everything. Maybe by evening, I'll come back to Illusion so I can join church yesterday evening. All of those things. But by the time I got to the airport, my flight's schedule changed. I didn't see it coming. And so, the question now, as I asked you earlier, is, what is your plan for yourself? How many of you can look at yourself and say, from now, between now and when I'll graduate from here, this is what I've planned for myself. This is what I plan to achieve. How many of you can say boldly? Yeah. I'm glad some people are. But see, don't worry. Even if by now you haven't figured it out. I tell people when I was on campus, I did not know what I wanted to do. All through my 4 years on campus, it was in my 4th year that I began to have the understanding of what I wanted to do with my life. So don't worry. Don't trouble yourself. Now you've heard this. Go back to your drawing board. Look at your life. See, sometimes in life, it's not even about what you studied. Do you know that? Maybe I love to preach that sermon because I'm a clear evidence of that. Do you know what I did in school? Religious studies. And I'm proud I did that actually. But do you know the field I work in today? It has nothing to do with religious studies. And sometimes when I interact with people, they are wondering, what course do you study? Even my colleagues at work, they don't know which course I did in school. And sometimes it's not even relevant. Nobody cares about what you did. Nobody cares about which school you went to. The most important thing is, what's the values you are able to project for yourself? What's the standard you set for yourself? And people look at you and they're like, this guy is the best at what he does. When they want to mention names of people in your field, they mention your name first because they know that, this guy has something to offer. So, organization is very key. Now, let me set a clear example to you. As I'm talking to you right now, can you believe that some people are busy pressing their phones? And it's very interesting because I'm here and I have the opportunity of looking at everybody at once. You know, this morning, Pastor Shotusa went around and seized some people's phones because they were pressing it during service. And some people had the audacity of coming to come and meet me again. I mean, someone even stood, face to face with me as if they wanted to box me. I'm like, I'm not small now. Like, they seized your phone because of lack of proper organization in church. And you're not even sober about it. And you know, some of them came and said, I need to make some phone calls. If it was that important to you, why didn't you hold on to your phone? You know, there's a rule, if you're going to see the president, your phones will be collected from you. Such that when you are with the president and you're interacting, you are not opportune to take any unnecessary recordings which are not authorized, or capture anything that you are not supposed to capture, or get distracted. So your phones will be taken away from you. Now imagine here now, you are meeting with the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. God has spared your life, made you who you are. And you are still looking up to him to elevate you later. But hold on to your phone. We don't even spend much time in church. This evening now, maybe the highest we'll spend is about 1 hour and we're out of here. Everybody goes. In the morning, maybe we'll spend about 4 hours at most, and you go back to your hall. We don't spend all day with God. You still have the rest of the day to press your phone. But when you come to God's presence, you can't just make that little sacrifice. Organization. So my point is, you have to be organized in everything that you do. Some of us, we get carried away so much that we are not conscious of where we are. Some are not even conscious of where they are. You know, I was with my boss the other day, who's my regional head of chapter for Africa. He's a very big guy, controls over 22 countries, and is very young also. And I'm glad young people are taking over the world. So we were together, and we were having lunch at a restaurant. Then this guy, who is a staff of the place, because of over familiarity, because you greet people, hello, hi, came to sit on our table and just looked at him and said, my guy Alpha. He was looking at this guy, my guy Alpha. And the guy was totally lost because he doesn't understand pidgin English, first off. And he looked at me. And I'm wondering, what's wrong with this guy? You know, even Sabi, I was giving him eye like, just leave this guy, let him be. Maybe after the lunch, we'll come back and continue adjusting. You know, that's how some of us behave. The other day, somebody looked at Dr. Show when we were at the stadium, insulted him because he asked him to stop pressing his phone. And it was just so embarrassing. I'm like, do you know who this man is? Do you even know who your church pastor is? I'm serious. Do you know who he is, actually? Like, outside of Babcock, outside of him being a professor, do you know how big that man is? Do you know how much people look up to him? Do you know he's an expert in his field that people consult? Do you know when you mention his name in obstetrics and gynecology, in the whole world, do you know he's a force to reckon with? No, I'm not saying that because we have to carry ourselves more than God. I'm saying sometimes we need to give honor to whom honor is due. But somebody just looked at him because he looks very young and he plays with all of us and laughs and started insulting him. And you know what later happened? So they took the guy to SOP. And when he got to SOP, Pastor is a very kind-hearted person. He's a very gentleman. Wanted to leave him. But thankfully, his wife was around that day. And I was there. And you know that some of us who are close to mommy, you know that mommy is more strict than even Pastor Shaw himself. So she insisted that boy has to write a statement. So I think it was later the boy realized how serious the offense was. Then he became very sober and humble. And I looked at him and I pitied him and like, you should have just surrendered the phone at the stadium. You didn't need to drag it this lunch. I mean, when I was in school, my lecturer would say, choose your battles wisely. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, choose your battles wisely. You know, some of us, we fight the wrong battles in life. You just chase after what is irrelevant. What does not concern. When I see some people sometimes, you major in minor, I pity you. You know, these days, I have I have a lot to do that I don't have time for irrelevant things. Tell your neighbor and say, neighbor, I don't have time for irrelevant things. I have better things to do with my life. You heard somebody said this about you and you want to rush there. Go and fight him. Why would you say that? Why wouldn't they say it? What is your business with it? Some of us, we want to follow the latest gist in class. And while you are running after latest gist, people are running after latest CGP. They are running after latest places to read in class. So by the time result comes out, your own latest will show on your result and their own latest will show. And I bet you would love to be on top of the class and not be under. You know, in my field, we call something bottom of the pyramid. Some of us are there currently in the bottom of the pyramid. Instead of you to strive to be the best at what you do, you want to be a mediocre. Who says you can't do it better than anyone else? Who says you can't be the best at what you do? So this evening, I've come to challenge your guts. Set that standard for yourself. Be organized. Who says you can't come to church and keep your phones away for the entire service? I mean, at least you write the exam for 1 hour, 2 hours, exactly, right? And you don't even press phones. They don't let you go into the exam with your phones. How much more the house of God? Do we have to be preaching this every time? I believe that by now, there are some sermons we should not even be preaching. We should leave them somewhere. Maybe we'll wait for the children in a children's church that will soon transition into the main church very soon, so that we can now start preaching that sermons to them. Very soon, your brothers and sisters, freshers, will join you here. By God's grace, we're expecting about 200 of them, and they'll be here. Imagine when they come and they now look at senior colleagues in 200 level, 300 level, OGs in the house, and they see that you're distracted. They see you press your phones. What kind of examples are we going to be setting for them? So let me come back to it now. I'm talking about organization in life. See, if you're not organized in life, no matter the level God places you in, no matter the opportunities you see, you know, some of us are blessed in life that even before you leave school, you already know where you're going to work. Believe me, there are people like that. I mean, it's nothing. We just thank God for their life, because some of us wish that we had that kind of opportunities too. But unfortunately, we don't have it. But still, God is blessing us. Do you understand? But there are people here who they know where they want to. They know where they will be after school. Do you understand? I mean, you're here on campus. You run everything solo. You're not even a blessing to people in your class. That's why I love HOKC 7 goals. The part that says mentor somebody each school year. Do you understand what it means? Mentor somebody. Pray with people. Build meaningful connection. If there's one thing I regretted the most while I was in school that I was unable to achieve, it was the fact that I didn't make enough friends I should have made while I was on campus. I mean, I wasn't that too serious with book, but I made some friends, and there were some I should have made friends